Okay, good day. I am David the nurse. That's what I'm usually called, David the nurse. I'm a critical care nurse, and this happens to be my first YouTube video. So I need your favor to just click on the subscribe button so that subsequently you get the notification of my subsequent videos, and it promises to be very interesting. So very quickly I'll be going to the matter of discussion today, that is oxygen administration. Oxygen administration. Oxygen administration is very key. It is one of the key duties of a nurse, and even other in the healthcare profession. As healthcare workers, it is important that we are equipped with the right knowledge of oxygen administration. Now, for a healthy person, it has been estimated that we take in about 21% of oxygen. So 21% of oxygen is contained in the atmospheric air. So as we walk up and down, we take in just about 21% of oxygen, and that is sufficient for every of the metabolic activities going on in the body. Now, administration of oxygen is not routine. It's not something you give to all patients. And that is why our assessment skill, observational skills must be intact to know which patient needs oxygen and which patient does not need oxygen. See a patient in obvious respiratory distress, patients using accessory muscles of respiration to breathe. You see that, you know that is not normal, because a normal respiration is silent, it should be effortless, it should be quiet. So when you hear patient, we hear noisy respiration, patient is having stridor, patient is having wheezing respiration, this patient is likely to need oxygen. When you see patient having a respiratory rate that is so high, above 20, 24, going to 36, as far as 40 cycles per minute, something is wrong. This patient needs oxygen. When you see patient perspiring, sweating during respiration, that is quite abnormal. This patient needs oxygen. Now, in your when you take vital signs, apart from the temperature, pressure, temperature, pulse, respiration, blood pressure, you can also take the pulse oximetry of the patient to know the oxygen saturation of the patient. So any saturation that is going lower than 94, 92%, you know that is a concern, and that patient will probably benefit from oxygen administration. So, in summary, when there is increased work of breathing, WOB, when there is increased work of breathing or patient is having hypoxemia, you determine hypoxemia in the patient, or you carry out you do your arterial blood gas analysis, and you discover that the obtention of oxygen in the arterial blood is low, then you know that the patient will probably benefit from oxygen administration. Okay, so that is like an overview. Now, the overall goal of oxygen administration, you can look into your screen now, it's written here, is to maintain adequate tissue oxygenation while minimizing cardiopulmonary work. So oxygen, to ensure that oxygen reaches tissue level, there is tissue oxygenation, because if there is no tissue oxygenation, it will switch over to the anaerobic respiration, because for respiration to take place, oxygen is needed that will metabolize to produce energy, water, CO2, and energy to the body, the ATP that is needed for the body. So oxygen is essential. So when the oxygen is not reaching the tissue, the body will switch over to anaerobic respiration, and we know the consequence. When there's anaerobic respiration, then there will be production of lactic acid, and that will lead into acidosis, metabolic acidosis, respiratory acidosis, and so on and so forth. So we don't want this to happen to our patients. So we must be equipped with the right knowledge of oxygen administration. Now, in administration of oxygen, of course, we know positioning is important. Before you administer oxygen, place your patients in semi-Fowler's position, 30-degree head up, and see how patient does. Now, if there's need, indication for oxygen administration, how do you administer oxygen to your patients? And that is the essence of this video. So I'll be talking very briefly about one of the oxygen delivery devices. There are various oxygen delivery devices you can administer to your patients which are non-invasive. Non-invasive there means you don't need to go that intubate and go into the lower respiratory tract of the patient or go beyond the nostrils, the nose. Okay. The first one, the simplest of them all, is the nasal prongs. In my subsequent videos, I will pick up another one and we'll discuss it one after the other. But in this video, I'll be focusing on the nasal prongs. Nasal prongs. Here you have it on the screen. Now, there's this confusion that most people have. What is nasal cannula? What is nasal prongs? What is the difference? So I want to tell you that there's no difference. It's just certain things we need to understand about these two terminologies. As you can see, look at where the nasal cannula is pointing to and look at the nasal prongs. This simply explains that nasal cannula gives rise to the nasal prongs. So the nasal prongs are a shoot. They are a shoot off from the nasal cannula. So it's a nasal cannula that bifurcates, that splits into two prongs. And these two prongs that go into the nostrils of the patient, the right and the left nostrils. And then you administer your oxygen. I hope this is very clear. Then I'll be talking about nasal catheter. Look at the diagram. Nasal catheter is different from nasal prongs. Nasal prongs has two tips. Nasal catheter has just one tip. But you will see multiple holes at the tip of the nasal catheter. So if you want to start with the right nostril or right nair, N-A-R-E, I believe you know, right nair, the routine, the standard practice is that you change it after 8 hours to the left nair to prevent any form of ulceration to the patient and of course discomfort too. So you change it every 8 hours from the right to the left, from the left to the right, and so on. So this is the nasal catheter. Now, if I see a patient and I want to administer nasal prong, it means that the nasal prongs as an oxygen delivery device is categorized under low delivery device. That is, it delivers low amount of oxygen. If patient needs higher level of oxygen, you can't use the nasal prongs. But when you see a patient is hemodynamically stable, the vital signs are essentially within normal range, but just having slight respiratory distress, mild respiratory distress, respiratory rate about 30, 32, oxygen saturation of maybe 94%, 93%. So you just want to give oxygen, little amount of oxygen, as low as 1 liters per minute, as low as 2 liters per minute. The right device to use is the nasal prongs. I believe you get that. So if you want to give low delivery oxygen, let your mind first go to the nasal prongs. Now, when you are using nasal prongs, you regulate your oxygen at between 1 to 4 liters per minute. That is the highest it can go. Anything above 4 liters per minute, will cause inconvenience for your patient, and most importantly, it will make the oxygen you are delivering to the patient to be a waste, because the pressure will be too much, and then oxygen will be escaping out from the patient's nose into the atmosphere. So between that 1 to 4 liters per minute, you are sure that your oxygen is going into the respiratory tract. So between 1 to 4 liters per minute. I will say that again. When you are administering oxygen via nasal prongs, you administer between 1 to 4 liters per minute. This is very important. You don't go above it. If there's a need to go above it, then you choose another higher device, not this particular one. Okay, so that is very important. Now, how do we calculate the concentration of oxygen we administer to the patient? We call it FiO2, fraction of inspired oxygen. FiO2. I have told you that the fraction of inspired oxygen we need as LD people we get from the atmosphere is 21%. That's a normal FiO2 for any LD person that we get from the atmosphere. Okay, it's also always expressed in fraction. So 21% in fraction is 0.21. Okay, now if I'm administering oxygen using nasal prongs, how do I know? How do I calculate? There's a formula to be used. How do I calculate the concentration of oxygen I'm giving to my patient? How do I know that I've not exceeded the concentration I should give? It is very simple. The formula is right here. Formula for calculating percentage or concentration of oxygen delivered: 20% plus, into bracket, 4 times oxygen flow rate. So this, for instance, I have a patient that needs oxygen and I'm using nasal prongs, and I set my flow meter to 3 liters per minute. I'm giving the flow rate is 3 liters per minute. So if I want to calculate, I'll just say 20% plus 4 times 3, that's 12. 12 plus 20, 32. So I'm giving 32% of oxygen to the patient. And to turn that to fraction, to know my FiO2. FiO2 means fraction of inspired oxygen. So to know my FiO2, I just say the value I got was 32%. So 32 divided by 100, that's 0.32. That's my FiO2. Okay, another example. Okay, I give a patient 2 liters per minute via nasal prongs. What is the oxygen concentration? It's very simple. 20% plus 4 into bracket 4 times 2, that's 8. 8 plus 20, 28, so that's 28%. And that is how to calculate it, as simple as that. You don't have to cram those figures, because there are tables that will tell you 2 liters of oxygen, you give this percent, 5 liters of oxygen will give you also percent. Just know this formula and you are good to go. I hope you have really learned and you have been impacted through this short video. So please, once again, I am David the Nurse. I'm popularly called David the Nurse. I love nursing. I love nurses. And this is my YouTube channel. I want you to subscribe to it if you have really gotten something worthwhile. Just press that subscribe button that looks like a bell. Press it and just click on it, so that subsequently, because every week I'll be posting educational write-ups, so that you will receive notification subsequently. Thank you.